How's this?
Man, so some technical difficulties. We were talking and the connection dropped, and we're tuning out or we're streaming live from our homes, basically in this emergency scenery. One emergency of our producer, so we had to come back home to broadcast Africa on Focus from on here. And we would like to thank you for catching up with us again on Africa on Focus. Shout out to every one of you who, keep persisting and all of that. Myself and Donnie, we dive into what's going on into our worlds and so much. Anyway, talking about allowance bit, I love the bit where we ended off. People were complaining about the amount. Yes,
Yeah. So yeah, basically the amount the main complaint from not only just the citizens but also people from the parliament themselves also
yeah,
was there there was this whole debate on I don't understand why she's receiving this much, right?
right,
Fair, you can pay her. However, like, what is her function? What are her duties? This is the first lady. This is not the president. So what? And
right.
or this is not a minister of any other position either. So why is her pay equal
That
to
high,
another minister of this and that?
right.
Whereas the work they're doing, it's not on the same level at all. So that kind of like raised this whole concern or pushed this conversation or forced her to go and rethink. And where I said, I do understand or I do respect the fact that she made this decision.
Did
This is the
yeah.
best choice, right? um but yeah, I hope the conversation will be ongoing on um how much are we giving these ministers or even people within the House of Representatives? How much money are we giving them, like a base wage, and
Yeah,
also what are the allowances? Because most of the allowances, a lot are just unnecessary allowances.
right.
Why would you give someone allowances for traveling
Mm-hmm.
during COVID when they
Oh, is it?
during COVID. Like, where are they
Man.
going? If they're not even traveling, if they're not even flying. It's like, for
Yeah,
instance, because you've heard the stories of ministers, family, or kids, what flying on with a diplomat passport and diplomatic um fees, or paid by the government, like for what
yeah,
purpose? I mean, this is taxpayers money, and then used to pay relatives of ministers, and in this
yeah,
case it could be the first lady. Like, why would you use that paying money to pay for what work is she doing
yeah.
for the nation? So yeah, it is a very interesting well,
Interesting topic. Yeah.
interesting topic and conversation. But she did well. She's,
She
I
did
agree with
well.
that. Just
Absolutely.
give, yeah. I mean, was there anything else she could have done to repair or to fix her image in a bit?
Mm-mm. I know. I
Yeah,
think this was the best because
yeah, I think so.
in general, to be able to even pay back that kind of money, I mean, how many bags, Gucci bags and trips would have been, have the money would just been up in waste. So
Yeah,
even to ask, some of our leaders to be like, give the money back, they'll be like, back where? It's Sikana shit. You know what I mean? That's really what's
yeah,
that's really what happens. So I think that, after good consideration, and this is most of the time the what critics give, like, oh, look at the money they make. That's the same money you can fix the roads with, blah blah blah.
yeah.
Okay, then I've
Right.
given back the money. Let's move on. So I think it's good, and I think that it's not even just First Lady Mrs. Rebecca Akufo-Addo, but also Second Lady Mrs. Samira Bawumia. They both rejected the offer, or as it relates to, they both announced that they'll return allowances that they received since their husband assumed office. I think it also makes a good statement, to say, you know what, we don't need the money like that, and also to show that they're not you know, yeah, irresponsible, and they just spend the money. No, it's still there. Let me just,
It's still there.
give it back. I think,
Yeah,
yeah, I think that's a good way to start some bringing
yeah.
change.
I I like that a lot. I like that a lot.
Really, really, a refund. Really, like, let's refund the money.
Yeah,
Um, and it's good. I think it's also a way to start up transparency. You know, um,
definitely.
the type of transparency that we here in the West are used to is kind of spoiled one, especially in the Netherlands. I mean, people know what the Queen makes, and
Yep, you can look
you
it up.
know,
And
the
they
whole
do
family.
get mad every time when they find out what the cream made. But at least they know.
At least they know exactly. So
Yes.
people say, "Oh, that's where my tax money goes to." Yes, it does. you know. So I think it's a good way to start it off wherever the transparency will lie and wherever the limit will be, because it takes a lot to be as transparent as, especially this society that we are in. Holland is relatively transparent. You like very transparent in capital letters. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Uh,
yeah, I think,
y-
let's see how this will continue.
yeah. Just I think what the committee further suggested that the second lady. So it also, because this was the first lady, right? And the
Yeah.
conversation also what kind of like the ball rolled onto what is the second lady being paid and
Hmm.
what should we do with that? And the committee further suggested that the second lady be paid a salary equivalent to a cabinet minister who is not an MP while
Right.
her husband is in office, and the payment of a salary equivalent to 80% of the salary of a minister of state who is not a member of parliament if the spouse served one full term. So they, at least they're kind of like they're building, because I
Yeah.
don't know if they did have a wage, um, let's say a box or a
Hmm.
structure, as in you come into the position, that's what you're going to get, or was it all? Because I feel like it was literally, if you were there, you could negotiate your
You're right.
salary. It was the
Right.
salary wasn't specific to your position. I feel like your salary was fixed to the person.
Yeah, I think
Right.
so.
Yeah, I think so too. So this is a, let's say, gives them a start to finally
Yeah.
introducing, okay, every president, no matter who you are,
Yeah.
this is the bracket where you're going to earn your money, and this is the vice president, this is the first
Yeah.
lady. Hopefully they can build that structure.
Hopefully so. Let's find out, how they are paid, and what kind of changes will bring along now. I'm
Yeah.
curious, but definitely I can see a turnaround if you compare to last 2 years complaints regarding Ghana government and comparing it to now, with
Hmm.
fix the country and things. It's this is a real challenge. I would
Yeah.
say, even talking to
Um,
people who are in the motherland now, a lot of people, of course, still proud of the president, but some challenges have really, um, come up. So and hey, it's the real challenges that show how tough, people are. That's
yeah.
uh, that's really what it is. We should definitely, before we close off, end up with the one that deals with racism and the football thing, right? I mean, whew, the England players. England faced such a defeat in was a Euro Cup. I haven't even
Yeah.
read all of the deeds, but I know three of our black brothers, black brothers, African brothers, whether that be from the Caribbean or directly from the continent,
Mm.
have gone through crazy, crazy, crazy type of racism. I would say this, music, sports bring people together without discussion. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
So don't be surprised when the discussions happen how racist you will find some people to be, because
Yeah.
that's really the truth of it. Well, for those of you who might, happened, Jaden Sancho, Marcus Rashford were both abused after missing penalties. Missing penalties is super painful. I can still feel the one. Remember the one we went through with Ghana World Cup? Was it against Uruguay? Even I'm not a football fan, but it pained me for like a week long. My cousin didn't speak to anybody for like a month. We know the pain. It's super painful, But in this case, Marcus Rashford, Bukayo Saka, and Jadon Sancho were targeted after they missed penalties in the Euro 2020 final. Chief Constable Mark Roberts said the abuse was utterly vile. If they identify that you are behind this crime, we will track you down and you will face serious consequences for your shameful actions. A torrent of racist comment aimed at some of the team's black players, also very young players, appeared on social media platform on the following Sunday after England lost on penalties to Italy in the final at Wembley. And the UK Football Policing Unit said its team was working through a significant number of reports of racist abuse. And the latest arrest was made by Cheshire Police, who have arrested a 42-year-old man from Runcorn on suspicion of displaying threatening, abusive, or insulting written material that is likely to stir up racial hatred. I'm sure you're really a football fanatic. What do you think of all this? You're not?
I didn't watch the finals. I did
Okay.
not. I probably through the entire European Championships, I've only watched probably one first half. I
Okay.
missed it completely because
All
it was around the time where I was either taking a nap before my night shift, or yeah, or even during the broadcast, during the show, because I think Netherlands was playing some one of the Sundays, and I was hosting African on Focus. Um, in this case particularly, I find it I found it important to let's say to highlight the fact that five people were arrested. So because this finally shows that even within the social media sphere or the world internet, there are actually real repercussions behind the
Yeah.
words that we say.
Yeah.
And this is important because so far, the most annoying thing about social media or internet is the fact that people can literally go out there and say whatever the fuck
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
they
Yeah.
felt like. And
Yeah.
right, so this is good. This is remarkable. Thank England for taking that
Yeah.
step, and I hope it
Absolutely.
actually leads to legislation. All right, where
Yeah.
and but you have to be careful with it. But that's a topic for another day. But it's good that these five people were found, and they literally tracked them down,
Yeah.
and yeah, grab them like, hey, this is not allowed. But other side of it was also the fact that somehow Twitter or Instagram missed it, because Instagram sort of have their policies and this and that. But here's a tweet or on this on Twitter is some lady, Christina Criddle, who is responded to BBC News, said, "Can you please explain why a comment on Saka's page with orangutans emojis was found to probably not be violating guidelines? Then I requested a
Yeah.
review and still haven't heard back. These emojis have been reported as an issue for a while. Why has it not been
Oh, yeah.
programmed?" So there's also kind of like push that pressure on these social media platforms as to,
It
yo,
does.
are you really policing the what the speech or the kind of language or the attitude that is it's on your platform,
Yeah,
is it a priority, right? So that also is highlighted with this case here. But nevertheless, the young brothers who were targeted, they good. One of them came out with a, with a whole long speech
yeah,
saying that he would not apologize for who he is. And
yeah,
what, these brothers are 19, 20. They young. They missed, World Cup. I mean, what, Euro champions,
yeah,
finals. And trust me,
yeah.
the English, the British are mad, and I understand their frustration. But again, this is pushing it
It's
a bit.
painful. Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
We can definitely not neglect the fact that it's really painful. But I'm happy that this is a way where things are tackled. I mean, this happens also in the Italian team, so much that it even made one of the players, what's his name, Botticelli? No, not
Balotelli.
Botticelli. Yeah,
Balotelli, yeah. I remember that one. Yep.
it made him cry, and it's so rampant in football. I even have a nephew who is playing professionally, very young guy. A nephew's playing professionally for Ajax, and when he made
Mm.
the switch from Feyenoord to Ajax, people in the comments, man, you know what I mean. So like I said, football is the type of thing that brings people from all kinds of places together, and it really addressing it from this way. It I hope it's the start of something, because it's people are ruthless, and at the end of the day, and I also, I might be a bit mean, but I also hope that we'll be able to help our dear black football players to understand that, listen, it is not a proud moment when you marry their ladies. You know what I mean? Just it's
We will talk on this
we will talk on
sometime.
this. We will talk
Definitely,
on
we
this.
will get it.
I hope they still understand. Like, listen, you can marry the ladies, but they still don't see you as one of them. You know what I mean? But hey, that's for a whole different kind of discussion. Say no to racism. The very people that can also help us to sometimes fill in a match. I mean, black people are strongly represented in a lot of European teams, from France to
Yep,
Holland to
exactly.
England.
Yeah,
So this should be handled. This cannot be ignored, because the true gifted players happen to be black a lot of times. Yeah.
definitely.
On that note, what can we conclude for today? We've talked about typical African leaders. I mean, giving back your salaries. I mean, and then also the racism that is around the world, plus some floods that have been going on. What can we conclude on this July episode of Africa on Focus?
It's let's say it's so far it's been the most, and we had assassinations last week. Haiti president was assassinated.
Yeah,
It's kind of like it's been a hectic
it's very
month
hectic.
with the lockdown and opening this and
Yeah,
that. But and we're halfway. Who knows in 2 weeks what will happen next. I'm keen to see what's going to how South Africa is going to resolve this. What other news is going to come out
yep,
of Ghana, and we
yep,
also there's so much. I was like thinking about it, like there's so much to cover as well.
yeah,
So we also try to focus on other countries in Africa.
yeah.
Um, as but yeah, but there's too much to cover.
Too much
But
to
we'll
cover.
do our best.
Absolutely,
We'll do
absolutely.
our best. But
In
so
in the
far,
words in the words of Akrobeto, nobody knows tomorrow.
too
Yeah.
really.
Ladies and gentlemen, we want to thank you for tuning in with myself and Donnie on this home lockdown mode, as we would call it. We are very
Yes.
keen to join with you again in our forthcoming weeks. And do not forget that Africa on Focus is also available in our podcast. Find us on Spotify, African Focus. You'll find us there, SoundCloud, all of the podcasting platforms. Make sure that you follow us on our social media at African Focus. And don't forget to press the subscribe button because High Radio seeks to stay connected with you every week as we go through other shows. Y Zone presented by Gary, High Street Entertainment by Junior, and East African Sound with Sylvia Kendi, and of course Afro Bongo with Royal. Thanks again for catching up with me, Donnie. I know we've been taking your time. Man, our news flashes, jeez. But anyway, we're ending up with a song. I think that should be still possible, even if we do this from a home lockdown mode. It's a good idea to end off with Ochame Kwame with Yeah Ko with his record collaborating with Kwame Eugene. Let's do that. I would say have a blessed week. Stay safe, and first, yeah, forget to stay masked. Have a good week. All right. Bye bye.
Yanke frikotia na ye waje fiemu kaye chesika ya ye chenu mienu say ambogampa yani ye apemu Fize yenya menayo yabokamaya you need a sponsor I did yansaya yenya menayo yabokamaya you need a sponsor I did yansaya yeko so shit, and then put on your fridge. Hey, my you, Fred Chelsea, you push him from for bridge. Drill it, we are Nampaya grill. Empty pocket, send a white shit, and your bottom back feel it. Yakun, watch me don't come freckle. What them best I can't do, who this can start, now fight a chain down. You won't answer, a super so bad answer. In your yak, my mom was so laundry. When you mind, I had to eat to the city rap. It's a little boy and care. We have this as you made in Ghana and Tia, yeah, consulate, yeah, say, I am pretty. When you're home, healy. After that, the Lumba men said that. The niggas, I believe it. Scratch it, catch it, budget, matches, fash it, what I do. Yanke frikotia, na ya waje fiemu, kaye chesika, ya ye chenu mienu, say ambogampa, yani ye apemu, Fize yenya menayo, yabokamaya, you need a sponsor, I did yansaya. Yo, Yabokamaya, you need a sponsor. I did Yansai, Yako,
Rockstar made it. Rockstar made it.